All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into the news review segment, and this segment is interactive, and we do want to hear from you throughout the conversations that we'll be having right here. So kindly use the WhatsApp line to share your thoughts with us, all right? It's 0204-447-033. We'll definitely love to hear your thoughts on the various conversations that we'll be having right here. Now, beyond that, if you happen to be watching us on our social media streams, kindly use the hashtag Breakfast Daily, add your comment, and we will pick it up and read it out here. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Various interesting things happening last week and over the weekend and all that, and we're going to be delving right into that. My guest, one of my guests is already in studio, so let me introduce him to you, and we'll get right into the conversation. I'll just start by mentioning the topics that we're likely to cover. Adum fire outbreak, okay, so also the fallout from that. The regional minister fumes at fire officers over empty tender, and then there's been a whole, a lot of things that have happened after that. National security operations, minority accuses officials of stealing from the former BOG governor. And then again, we've also gotten, various commentary that have happened subsequently. And then New Patriotic Party, Adum Safo faces disciplinary committee over media remarks. Okay, so lots of interesting conversations to be had this morning. Now, my first guest in studio is Ibrahim Ejay. He's the former Assistant Secretary of the former, at the office of the former president. Ibrahim.
David, good.
Yeah, how you doing?
By God's grace.
Super.
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yourself?
I'm well, I'm good.
You're looking good.
Yeah,
thank
you.
Fire in the belly.
Hey, Charlie.
How do you?
It's crunch time.
Yeah.
We just wrapping up first quarter. Mm-hmm. So time no day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. Yes. So yeah.
Just with that determined focus, we'll succeed.
Yeah.
Inshallah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get right into it.
Okay.
So I will pick a few stories. We'll start with the Adum fire, that very tragic, unfortunate fire that took place on Friday.
Yeah.
And burnt through the weekend. There's a number of stories. I'll just pick a few of them, and then we'll situate the conversation properly. Okay. Now, Adum fire. Shouting extinguish flames. Shouting won't extinguish flames. Ghana National Fire Service responds to minister's outburst. The story here says, the Ghana National Fire Service has responded to the remarks made by Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoako-Hene, during his visit to the site of the devastating fire outbreak at Adum in Kumasi on Friday. Now, I wish we have the comments that he made that it angered some people, so we can just, play for those who missed it to see it. But I'll continue the story. The fire, which broke out in a commercial building near the Adum Central Market, caused significant damage to shops and properties worth thousands of Ghana cedis. I think maybe more like millions, really. Several traders were left counting their losses as firefighters worked to contain the blaze. During his visit to the scene, Dr. Amoako-Hene expressed frustration upon noticing what he believed to be an empty fire tender parked at the site. He questioned the firefighters on duty, demanding to know why the vehicle was present if it lacked water. If there is no water in the tender, what is it doing here? If you have any challenge, why don't you tell me immediately? The minister angrily asked. In response to the minister's remarks, Alex Kinati, PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service, defended the fire service's efforts, stating that the challenges faced by the firefighters cannot be resolved by mere outbursts. Action is not by shouting or creating a public spectacle. This is a minister who is well aware of our challenges as a service. Even as of March 6th, when our officers engaged him during a cleaning exercise, he assured them he will help fix our fire tender at our metro station. That promise is yet to be fulfilled. Kinati said in an interview with GH1 TV. He further emphasized that the ability to fight fires depends on adequate resources, not just verbal reprimands. We didn't have this kind of scene at Cantamanto, yet we were able to extinguish the fire. Shouting does not fight fires or extinguish fires, he added. Investigations into the cause of the fire are still ongoing. Let me give you a couple more of the headlines. These ones, I'll just mention the headlines. Again, ChannelOneNews.com, we have empty fire tender at scene, a standard practice. Again, this is the PRO explaining. Let me see why he says it's standard practice. I'll just quote that for you. Okay, he says here in the story, responding to the controversy, the Ghana National Fire Service PRO Alex Kenate explained that the tender's presence was intentional and in line with firefighting procedures. When we have a fire situation like that, where we have multiple fire tenders in attendance, the first tender that attends at the scene is called the base pump. The base pump, no matter what, is supposed to stay put at the fire scene, he stated in the same interview. Okay. There's another quote here, which is ending the story. We can't leave the fire scene naked without any fire tender. So by our standard operating procedures, the tender would have to be there so that when the fire tenders that are going to replenish come, they feed the base pump with water. All right, so that's that story there. Let's just quickly move on and get into the conversation. Another headline said, tenders at our closest stations were broken down. Now, this is also the same PR in the same conversation. Right, so...
Alex Nyako.
Yes, King Nate. Alex Nate. Yeah. Yes, so, Ibrahim, I don't know if you saw the incidents on Friday unfold, you know, very disheartening.
Yeah.
Somehow, as it began, my wish and prayer watching the scenes was, oh, may they put off the fire as quickly as possible. However, somewhere deep in my heart, I knew the entire market was going to come down, you know, just because of the practice of some of the things we do, right? So anyway, your take on this.
Okay, well, first and foremost, it's not just right, but I think it's important that we commiserate and share in the loss of our fellow Ghanaians in Adum. I haven't heard that there's been a loss of life.
No, we haven't heard anything like
property.
that, thankfully.
Yes.
Thankfully.
But, you know, when your business, your trading, what brings money to you and your family, that's equally your life. So our commiserations to them.
Incidentally, some people during the fire incident had actually said that they had actually taken delivery just the day before of some goods. You know,
I want to get into that a little bit in terms of what we can do post my commiserations, and it's sincere and it's heartfelt. If you have a business and it's raised to the ground, no amount of words can console you, but at least we can ask that they have that faith that God is good all the time. I want to frame my submission this way, if you'll allow me, please.
Please go ahead.
On two areas. First of all, people will say that, yes, there are inadequate resources. Am I right?
Yeah.
Driving in, I was listening to news reports that our ratio, I'm talking fire tenders, fire personnel to the population is around 4,000 and something.
I see.
Whereas the United Nations standard should be around 800. Now, of course, when you go out of Accra, Kumasi, Takrady, those odds increase. They diminish. I think right now we have some 114 operational fire tenders out of some 248 or thereabouts. You know, so close to a good third or so are not working. Parts of Oti region, as I understand, per the report, are without fire tenders. So these are what is in front of us. We are resource challenged. Now, what do we do as governments, as administrations? How are we prioritizing? My submission is in two parts. One, government. Two, we the people.
Yeah.
So on the government side, what are we doing to prioritize so that we can make sure that the ratio of fire personnel, right now we have around 18,000 personnel, fire personnel, of which 800 are in admin and administrative works. So let's say we have roughly 17,000 firefighters, men and women, and then another 1,000 or so doing the administrative work. Woefully below what we need. So what can government do? Rather than concentrating on the fire, I want to see how we can move the discussion towards a solution. It's about priority. If you say it's money, where can we look to actually do some cuts?
Okay.
In order, budget-wise, does the military need all the money that we are giving them? I'm not saying they don't, but you have to somehow balance the equation.
Yeah.
To say that, how many times does Ghana find itself, and alhamdulillah, we're a very peaceful country, as are our neighbors generally, engaged in war?
Yeah.
Thankfully not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying because of that. Sometimes deterrence is why we have peace.
True.
So I'm not saying that, but you have to look at it and say, okay, what can we do? I also heard a report that in terms of the Office of Government Machinery, and I'm speaking it generally, not on any particular administration, we have around 5,000 vehicles, I'm talking off-roaders, within the system. Okay? It carries on from one administration to the next.
Okay.
Do we need that many? If we need that many, do we need them to be off-roaders? The 4x4s. So imagine that all those 4x4s cost you X. Can we slash the 4x4, go for saloon, then you have more money
to buy
and service. I'm talking fire tenders. Senegal just recently last year imported 109 vehicles. Remember, we have 248 nationwide. Senegal just last year imported 109 vehicles, some from US, Germany, Italy.
Okay.
So they did the smart thing. You spread your risk. Don't focus on one supplier. So that's on the government side. I wanted to, at least in this submission, see how we can face the challenges of it. Now, what Dr. Frank Amoako-Hini said, and I'm happy that the Chief Fire Officer herself, Daniela Into-Sapong, said that it's not only water that is used to extinguish fires. So for Dr. Frank Amoako-Hini, what I would say is, yes, you can be forthright, criticize, but know that you should also demoralize. I'm in no way saying that he should cover any deficiencies. He should critique and challenge those fire officers on the ground. Why is there no water? But the Chief Fire Officer herself said no tender leaves without water. Now, when you get to the site, are there hydrants?
Yeah.
Are there water facilities that they can then, siphon off, tap into, and do it? So, the minister has to be a little bit more, considerate. Because these are people who risk their lives of me and you.
Yeah.
So you get there, and then you're being berated. There's a way in which you can extract information for a solution. I'm talking about the minister.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you demoralize the people that you want to encourage.
Yeah.
So that's my submission on government and the minister's comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't lose your train of thought.
Okay.
I wanted to ask take a look at this angle. So the minister gets to the ground.
Yeah.
This is a major problem that is happening. It's unfolding before his eyes.
Yes.
It's like what can we do urgently to deal with this?
Yeah.
He sees the fire tender and he asks, is there water? And he is told that there is water in it. So if there's water, why are you not using it? Right?
Yeah.
Then he says, don't lie to me. If there is no water in it, why have you not told me? Do you have challenges? If there are challenges, tell me the challenges. Yes. That's why I'm here, to help. So for me, I sense more of frustration. You see, so now, here's the other thing. I think that the fire fraternity, let me, if I can call them that, the fire service fraternity, understand their modus operandi. They know how they do their things, right? But here is somebody who is not in your fraternity. Why won't you be forthright with him about the procedures? It's a simple thing. It takes 30 seconds to explain that, oh no, this fire tender is empty because we've run out of water, but it needs to be here because the other guys will come, feed it with water, and then we distribute from here. How complex is that?
I agree with you. How you phrased
all this
it,
brouhaha would not have happened.
Yeah, David, how you phrased it, I agree with you. I don't think I need to, if I had an issue, I would pick at it. But how you explained it, I agree with you. That said, I now want to shift my submission to we the people, and the government is involved. Remember Katamento Fire, January this year, on the same platform. Myself, Victor, we were all discussed it. And we had 13 fire tenders deployed to that one. Shows efficiency, it's been done. But what did I mention on that program? I said that we are rather trying continuously to fight the fire instead of prevent the fire. And while I was there, I was Googling. You have fire retardant paint. I beg you, Ghanaians watching. Fire retardant paint. Google it as I talk. And then do price. Like a liter is something like, if you do the dollars, something like 50 Ghana cedis for a liter.
Wow.
Google. I'm hoping I want to have people.
Fire retardant paint. So basically, it slows. It doesn't allow the fire to pick up.
As the fire hits the paint, it foams up. It foams up. And so you are giving time, one, for your life, two, for your property. I think that's the only way we can help the fire service. We have to see this as government. Where's the fire tender? Where is the fire extinguishers? The carbon dioxide? All those things. What can we do to also safeguard ourselves, which is now where policy comes in. Right now, you can't build a property if your building pillars don't have iron rod. Am I right?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
But I should be able to. But the law says I can't. Because without the iron rods, my building is not strong structurally and it will fall down. Am I right? But I should be able to build. Good. But the law says no, for your safety and also the public good. We need that law in place now, the same law I mentioned, that if you are even doing kiosk, and remember these things, both at Katamanto and Adum, per the report, gas cylinders, naked fires, they were man-made things. No, this wasn't like electrical fire, what have you. So why are we still using naked flames and gas cylinders? Maybe there's a leak. The regulator on that cylinder is not tight. I mean, I can go into the minutiae. But let the fire service do the investigation and resource us. But here's the thing. Government can do that policy. You know, and I mentioned it both when we were in power. I'm talking MPP. And even now. Nobody should say, oh, Ibrahim, this one there, you know, we'll go upset the people. Why are you upsetting the people? When I have to put iron rods, are you not upset? It's a cost for me. So if I'm putting up a kiosk, a building, I have to have, by law, fire retardant paint. If the assembly people come or fire service people come and they check, and you can check these things. You know that this paint is not either you repaint it or straight to the court for a fine. Government needs to somehow force us to do the right thing and help us to save ourselves. These fire retardant, so I'll give you just one more minute. Fire retardant paint as a first barrier. We are helping the fire service because look at the fire tenders or fire stations are sparse. It's not everywhere you have a fire tender. So let's give them that time to come and help us. Do you get me? And that's how government can force we the people to do some preventative measures by law to say that whether it's a kiosk, whether it's your own home, these are some of the interventions. And then by the paint, those who build with wood, you have fire retardant spray. It's not a varnish, but it soaks into the wood. So as you light the wood, it takes time before it even catches fire, if at all. So from both the building materials, you can do it from the top down. Any wood used for construction, whether it's balsa wood, wawa wood, whatever we
before
we
you
use,
can sell it.
Before you can sell it,
Yeah,
make sure it's treated.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things I wanted to mention in my submission, rather than the usual, why is this? And then we go to the next topic. These are solutions that government can help us with, force us to do, and then we can work with the fire service. And lastly, forgive me for going over the minute, government can reprioritize some budgetary expenditure. The military may come at me and say, Ibrahim, why are you saying we should remove our budget? I'm just saying that let's look at how we can better. I'm just using the military as an example, okay? I mentioned also the Office of Government Machinery. If we have 5,000 4x4s, let's cut it to, let's say, 2,000, for argument's sake. Those 3,000 balance now become saloons. The money saved, we can deploy it. And it's for government to look at the budget and see where it can do the savings. I'm just using these as examples.
All right, okay. Well, we've been joined also by our second guest, Victor Kojoka Adawudu Esquire. He's right here with us. Victor, how are you?
Good.
How's the weekend?
Yeah, not bad.
Okay.
We are doing well.
Good.
God has given us His grace. So
you look good.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
So, Victor, we as a nation appear to have prioritized security over safety. When I say that, security in terms of, you can think about all of it, police, military, whatever it is, the investment has been massive over the years, right? Compared to safety, where the fire service then comes in, right? And they are supposed to be first responders on any disaster as well. So if there's an accident, there's a fire, they're supposed to be there first responders. But somehow we haven't done so well to equip them adequately.
Well, thank you. Let me, in the first place, sometimes we become fatigued. When it happens, we commiserate with them. We sympathize with them. Politicians will rush there and dole out money. And it's peanuts. At the end of the day, it is the vicious cycle that goes round. So are we learning from it? So it is, like you said, security over safety. I would say politics over policy. Yes, it's all about politics now. Because we are doing the same thing, we are not learning out of it. And I would put this, if you talk about the retooling, they are the first respondent. I think the last time that they were retooled, we had the fire tenders, we had the ones that come mount to some skyscrapers. I think they were retooled during the Mills administration.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
That's been a long time, since 2009-10. I remember when the Amadou Sorogo was the chair of the fire service. I think that time that it was retooled. Since then, we've never heard of any major retooling for the fire service. But this issue, when it happened, I think we should lay the blame on three particular people.
Okay.
On government, local government, and we the people ourselves.
Okay.
See, when it comes to government, sometimes we are not showing leadership. The leadership we want to show is that, it has happened. Let officials go there. When officials go there, just say all the things that they want to say to empathize with the people. At the end of the day, they say we are leaving it in the hands of some agencies. When the agencies are not even giving money, it takes time, and it becomes a business as usual. Even taking time to say, okay, let's cordon the whole place. Yes, what goes into it? What planning? We are building modern markets. Yes, our markets had issues because that was what was tried from the early 31st, things where even they realized that one of the problems were that the market women would have to be cooking because of their children. You go home late, they come very early. So their children, when they are from school, some even goes to the market. My mother has been a market woman.
Okay.
So even you go there to eat, Or you go there when they sell, they will now have to find some money for you to go and buy some food. So some of them, to be able to do this, they cook within the market. And that's where this gas and the rest have been imported into our market. At first, nobody cooks in the market. Now we've moved from that they were daycares. People have benefited from the daycares. They are responsible positions today. Now, if we are moving that way, we have a template. Okay, KJTR market has been done. I think they are doing other places where they have been parts of the market can be designated. So if we think that cooking within the market is a problem, why don't you get a pantry and a kitchenette that any person who wants to come and eat or cook, there is a place that is for what has to be done. So it is about planning. Now, people don't trust leadership. Government. Is the mistrust and suspicion that because our society, the fabric has been very partisan, the general perception is that when you are close to leadership or your leadership, I can get things done or resolved. It doesn't need me to go through the agencies, go through the proper processes. The moment I know you are close to government, so it becomes politics. So now you pigeonhole people, and once you pigeonhole them, he belongs here. This one belongs here. This one belongs here. People believe that once there is a fire now comes on, when leadership comes in, they are going to take our portions away from us. So they don't trust leadership. So government must show leadership and say that, look, yes, trust me, what I say, take me by my word, and we will do the same. But when the people are not seeing that, you may say everything, they will not listen. Now, when it comes to the local government, the markets, they are controlled by the district assemblies. And some we have the Markets Association Limited. So what are they doing? There also, they think that when the new leadership for the assembly comes, the new leadership is going to pinpoint their own and actually give them the stores. They may lose the stores. So because I'm close to you, I should be able to get a store. I handle a case. The Kotokraba market.
Okay, yeah.
Right? The original people who were selling there, the market women, the fisher folks, you'll be surprised that when I was doing that case, there were some things I couldn't even say. But today I may say some. You know, people who were owning the stores, some of the stores within the market, it was shared to professors, shared to judges, workers, you know, and these people had nothing to do with that market until it was built. But this was how it was shared. So from that experience, the original people who were selling in the market lost everything. Now they would take the stalls and now rent to you the market person. So the people are justified when they don't want the leadership to come in and also trying under the guise of enforcing or the compliance with our laws that don't do A, B, C, D. They know that they take it from there and resell. This has been. Look, I get surprised. Even some people don't even, they are not in Cape Coast. They live far away. They work somewhere. They are in Accra here.
But they have a stall in Kotokraba.
They have a stall in Kotokraba. So that is why the people, when it happens, like they say, we want to rebuild. That's why I'm sure there's a work between NADMO and the market people now that we don't want them to come in. Because they feel the moment they come in, they clear the debris and they start to plan how
they will not give
we will lose our livelihood.
Their people.
They will give it to their people. And it's the same politics that we are seeing. I think what we have to do is, the other issue is that these are old markets. We don't have access. Where the fire hydrants are in the market. They don't have access to be able to tap into them to have the water, all these combustion elements that they have put in the market. So allow leadership. I think we need to have to judge and say, yes, we recognize that You are the original person who had been there. You have the first right to be given the same portion unless you are no more interested. Then that is when we can give it to us. I think if we are able to judge or let the people understand. It's a mistrust.
Yeah.
And the politics.
Yeah.
So we are, yes, at least we are all Ghanaians. Let them know that, yes, everybody knows that I am an NDC man. Right? But when I'm doing something, it should be very objective. The ordinary person should see that this is what a reasonable man would do. A citizen would do. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I may not be impartial, but if I'm partial to somebody, they should see that, look, no, he's been objective.
Right.
He's been objective. So I think that this is what we need to do.
I'll give you a chance to wrap. I'll give you a chance to wrap up your thoughts after this. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and then we can get to hear your wrap-up thoughts on this one. We'll be right back.